Hey guys, so Tuesday's Euphoria. So current patch we have Willow's Euphoria. So the next patch we will be getting Tuesday's Euphoria, and then there will be a new character, Ramona, which is a poison unit, and that complete the current poison team. Except that they don't have a sustain. You can use Sotheby, but Sotheby could not sustain endgame anymore, so they are lacking a poison sustain at the moment. Anyway, let's go through Tuesday's kit and if you should pull for her or not. First of all, her insight when entering battle gain Fierce Cradle. When entering battle gain Grant Genesis damage dealt plus 15% to self. So this is self, but again, she is not the main DPS, so whether she get Genesis damage for self or not doesn't really matter. For Insight 3, when entering battle, gain Rune's Service. When entering battle, gain Moxie plus 4 for self and trigger only once. The ultimate does not count towards the ally incantation draw limit. Okay, this is actually quite important, the plus 4 Moxie, because it helps with her rotation. So first of all, what is Fierce Cradle? So Fierce Cradle, all allies can score critical hit with their poison effect, so she's gonna make poison unit hit really hard with that crit. But here we got to remember that she can make poison crit, she doesn't guarantee crit. So the character themselves still need crit stats in order for them to crit, okay? When an ally takes an action, every step down, negative status, or control status the ally inflict on an enemy target through this action has a 50% chance to inflict 1 instant of poison. So the more debuff, the more negative status that you do on the enemy, the more chance you will inflict more poison. Poison itself is a negative status, so poison can inflict more poison as well. As for room service, excess Moxie on allies is temporarily stored. At the end of the round, each character's stored Moxie is used to replenish their own Moxie if able. Each character can store up to 5 points of Moxies. So, for example, maximum is 5, right? If you use an incantation and now you have 6, the 6th one will be stored as overflowed Moxies. And when you use your ultimate, that one overflow Moxie will then become your Moxie, which means you just need another 4 Moxie to regain your ultimate. And if you accumulate up to 10 excess Moxie, you use ultimate, which means next round you can instantly use ultimate again. As for her skill 1, the Horror's Delight, basically it inflicts more poison, it will bounce around the enemy, and then those that it hits all will receive poison, okay? Skill 2 in Martyr's Arm. So this debuff is actually very important. You want to make sure that it is active all the time on the enemy, because first it inflicts Genesis damage taken 15, 25 or 35% based on rank, and then crit resist rate minus 15%. Okay, so you are more likely to crit, especially with your poison. And if the target is in poison status, the crit rate increase. Okay, so with Tuesday Euphoria now, it is 40% crit resist rate minus, okay, instead of 15%. And also if the enemy is in poison status, then the debuff includes damage the target takes from poison by 20%. As for her ultimate, please come on in. Deal 225% mental damage. Again, we don't really care about that. Inflict poison 2 stacks. And then deal more poison damage, which is Tuesday attack times number of instances of poison on the target times 60%. And this Genesis damage can crit, and at the same time she will deploy Horror Story Night for 3 rounds, and after releasing this ultimate she get 1 Moxie. Okay, so Horror Story Night is an array. This is what makes her important in all poison team at the moment. Okay, that's because poison effect on enemy do not decrease in duration on resolve. So let's say if a poison is only for 2 rounds and this array is for 3 rounds, so which means during the entire array, even when the poison duration has dropped to 1, it will not deplete. It will remain all the way until this array ends. And when it ends, it will trigger all the poison. So here you want to inflict as many poison as you can every single round, so you keep accumulating this poison, and yeah, you will overall do a lot of damage, especially now with Willow and Ramona. One additional effect they add here with her Euphoria is that at the end of the round, if the Horror Story Knight, which is the array, is active, is deployed, Tuesday grants self Moxie +1 and extend all debuff originating from in Mother's Arm on all enemies by 1. Okay, so this is really good because it makes her rotation much better. So since we are talking about rotation, this is her rotation. It's very simple. First, she start off with 4 Moxie. You use S2, which is Mother's in Arm, and that inflict all the debuff that you want on the enemy. And then she will have 5 Moxie. So in round 2, you can use her ultimate. The thing is that when you use her ultimate, you get back 1 Moxie. At the end of the round, because the ultimate has deployed the array, you get 1 more Moxie. In round 3, you get 1 more. And in round 4, you get 1 more Moxie before the array expires. So again, you have 4 Moxie. So back to round 1, you use S2. And then you repeat the cycle, okay? A very simple gameplay. You don't even have to use S1, and you don't have to keep applying S2 because previously we need to do that, right? So now you don't. So it's gonna make her very AP friendly, very easy to play. For her teammate is, yeah, no other than Willow and Ramona. So the sustain, as I mentioned, as of now, you can use Marsha. Marsha Discipline Forge provides crit damage, and that is also useful for the poison team because yeah, they can make use of their stats to allow their poison to crit. So one thing of a concern is that previously the poison team Willow was really strong. When it enters Reverie, it can clear a lot of fights. Then after that, right after the next patch and we have a new level of stages, the developer decide to put in Genesis damage reduction, or is it poison damage reduction, making the poison team not very viable. However, at the moment, with the tremendous boost that Willow provide and Tuesday provide, at the moment, at least this is 3.5, right? So 3.6, 3.7, the poison team is still very much relevant. There is no stage that actually where a mechanic exists that directly shut them down. Okay, so they are pretty good at this point. Apart from the Ramona Willow poison team, you can also use Ezio poison team. So Ezio, the whole team comp is a bit more friendly. And since Tuesday now AP is very friendly, you can actually allocate more for Ezio to do more poison damage. Not really poison damage because Ezio does Genesis damage. It's not Genesis poison. It's based on the number of poison stack. Then he will do Genesis damage. Okay. As for the third slot for this team, you can slot in quite a lot of people like Cassandra, Flutterpage, Jessica, or Ramona should work as well, but a little bit counterintuitive because Ramona consumes some of the poison to change it into a different one, but Ezio just wants as much poison as possible. So I would rather boost his stats so that when he does the Genesis damage, it will be stronger. As for the Psychube, you can use Tuesday own Psychube and the mid says because it provides crit rate, and her array deployed by the carrier grants poison damage 4 to 8% depending on level to all allies, and additional poison damage dealt 4 to 8% as well to the carrier. So the one to the carrier I don't really bother, but the one to all allies, it does matter for the entire poison team to do more damage. Okay, so these effects are removed after the array ends or is replaced. But if you consider the 4-round rotation that I mentioned, you only will have 1 round without the array, and after that you will have the array for 3 rounds where you accumulate as much poison and do poison genesis damage as much as you can. Okay, so this Psychube, I would recommend it for your Tuesday. For Portrait, I don't really think you actually need one, but here I highlight Portrait 2. But first, look at Portrait 1. Instant of poison inflict increase to 2, and then more Genesis from Poison, which we really don't need. Okay, she's not the main DPS. P2 in Mother's Arm, incantation rank 1 to 3, the Genesis taken is now increased from 30 to 50%, and crit rate resist is 25. Sorry, this is not 30%, but it should be 60% to the target in poison status, because the Euphoria doubles it. Okay, so 60% to target in poison status, crit resist round is a lot. And then Genesis damage taken 30 to 50% is pretty a lot as well. So P2 overall going to make Willow and Ramona do more damage, okay? So if you really want to chase Portrait, P2 is okay. P3 again is just more poison, then the outdo more damage, but we don't really care about that one. P4 at your service, Genesis damage dealt granted to self, so self we don't really care also. P5, the array, at incantation 1, 2, 3, the mental damage dealt is increased to 210, 310, and 535, and inflict 1 instead of the same poison on another random legal enemy target if available, and that repeats up to 3 to 5 times. So again, just a bit of poison here and there, not really that useful. So again, I didn't bold it up. So yeah, if you want to change, if you want to chase for Portrait, P2 is enough. Alright, and finally, should you pull? If you have Poison team, you want to play Poison, you must pull Tuesday. It's not even you should, you must pull Tuesday if you really want to play Poison team. Doesn't matter if it's Azil or if it's Ramona, you need Poison. Okay, you need Tuesday. However, for player who doesn't like Poison, or you don't have Willow, you don't have resources to pull Ramona, then don't bother, okay? Don't bother pulling for Tuesday. You don't really need it. And yeah, that's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching and have a good day.